We are doing the exact same thing, but for NFL.
Oh, okay.
Fats, you love NFL, so
I do.
we gonna learn today because it's not fair to do on NBA and not on
Exactly.
NFL. Before we get into the video,
Make sure you smash the subscribe and follow button and hype up this video.
Apparently, NFL's harder to understand. Well, there's still a 5-minute video, but let's see.
Yeah.
Football seems like a simple game. You score more points than the opposition, and you win. But it's so much more complicated than that. It is a sport full of intricacies, and it's those that make a sport that so many people love. One of these is the positions. There's a lot of them. And in and among all of the jargon, it can be hard to know what player does what. So let's take a look at each position in football, what their responsibilities are, and how they create the most popular sport in America.
Guys who watch NFL on a more casual basis, would you say you can comfortably name all positions on a casual basis? Or is it like, no, people who have a bit more extreme knowledge are the ones who can say it? Let me know.
No, I think they can.
Because it sounds like there's quite a bit. Because even when they lined up the dots, there were so many. That seems like there's a lot more in NFL than there is in European football.
Football positions are split into 3 groups: offense, defense, and special teams. We'll start with the offense, and a position you've almost certainly heard of, the quarterback. Quarterbacks are usually considered the leader of the offense. They receive the ball from the center and can either hand off the ball to a running back, throw it to a wide receiver, or run it themselves. The running back is situated in the backfield with the quarterback, and their primary goal is to run with the football and gain yards on the ground. Some teams also utilize a position called the fullback, another player who aligns in the backfield and is primarily used as an additional blocker for the running back.
That makes sense.
Wide receivers, as their name suggests, receive forward passes from the quarterback to gain yards through the air.
And the wide receivers are the guys who are very fast.
Yeah.
And it makes sense because they're receiving the pass from quarterback. Like a cheetah, like Sonic. So yeah, that you need to be quick to receive those.
Yeah.
They can either be positioned out wide or aligned closer to the central formation as an inside or slot
with the one-handed catch
on pass play, the receivers run a set of coordinated routes designed to create separation from their defenders. At the front of the offensive formation is the offensive line. This is made up of a center, 2 offensive guards, and 2 offensive tackles. Their main job is to protect the quarterback and create spaces for the running back to run through.
So do you remember the videos we watched where the quarterback is got the ball and he's waiting to throw it, he's just waiting, but then he gets tackled? So, chat, am I right to say these guys in the front line didn't do a great job at their job for allowing someone to slip through the sides? Do you know what I'm saying? To put that tackle in? Because he's relying on these guys. These guys are not doing a great job. He's fucked, basically. So,
yeah, that's true.
So, am I right to say that, guys? Yeah? Or was he just, or sometimes are they just so slow that they need to speed up throwing the ball?
They're known as running lanes, but each position has specific responsibilities. The center will snap the ball back to the quarterback to start a play, and the rest of the offensive line is then collectively tasked with protecting the quarterback from the defenders rushing the passer or creating lanes for the running back. Now, we've mentioned the defense there, but before we get to them, we have to mention the 11th and final member of the offense, the tight end. This is a hybrid position that involves the skills of a receiver or an offensive lineman, or both. They can block opposition defensive players and also run to receive passes. They'll either line up on the line of scrimmage with the offensive line or in the slot. Okay, now on to the defense. We'll start describing this group with the defensive line. This is a group at the front of the defensive formation comprised of defensive tackles and defensive ends. They'll look to tackle either the quarterback behind the line of scrimmage in what is known as a sack, or the running back in what is known as a tackle for loss. The defensive tackles are situated in the interior of the defensive line. They'll look to run through the offensive line to put pressure on the quarterback or stop the run.
So that's what we see when the quarterback gets tackled, is these guys who are doing a good job.
Headbutting them.
Doing a great job, basically, at what they do.
Defensive ends, or edge players in some defenses, meanwhile are positioned on the outside of the defensive line and will look to go around the offensive line to rush the quarterback and prevent running plays. Behind the defensive line are usually 3 linebackers, although it varies by formation. Linebackers are required to be versatile and will be asked to tackle running backs, cover tight ends, and occasionally support the defensive line in rushing the quarterback on plays called blitzes. Situated furthest outside the formation are the cornerbacks, whose job is to defend against the wide receivers in order to stop them from receiving passes. Finally, rounding out the defense are the safeties, who will primarily cover the deeper part of the field, but can also serve as the last line of defense against the run and support the work of the defensive.
We've seen them because I don't know if you've seen you remember the videos where the right back is running and he's like looking like he's cleared and there's just someone chasing him and we're like, that looks like a cheetah or a lion chasing his prey. It's normally them guys. So they're like the last hope to stop this runner from doing a touchdown.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. See, we're learning. It's good to put this into context rather than us just thinking it's some random guy popping out of nowhere. Like, they actually have a position and that's their job, which is pretty cool.
Line. There is a strong safety who lines up closer to the line of scrimmage and stops runs or short to medium passes, and a free safety who lines up further back and specializes in preventing long passes by defending the deepest part of the field.
And that's the guys where the quarterback does a long throw and there's someone there trying to defend that long throw.
Yeah, we've seen that.
We've seen that many times, so that's that.
So now you've mastered offense and defense. The last positions you need to know about are the special teams. There's a kicker who will come on to kick extra points after a touchdown or field goals after a successful offensive drive. In order to snap the ball back to them, there is a specialized long snapper whose job is to throw the ball back before a kick. The long snapper will throw the ball back to a holder, whose job it is to hold the ball in place for the kicker. Seeing as this is not a particularly specialized position, the role is usually filled by a punter or backup quarterback. And speaking of punters, this is another special team player who will look to kick the ball as far as possible down the field after an unsuccessful offensive drive. The aim of this is to push the other offensive team back into their territory and make it difficult for them to score.
Makes sense.
And finally, the punter's kick will be caught by a return specialist, whose job is to catch the ball and run it as far back down the field as possible.
We've seen that. I don't know if you remember. I always wondered what that was, where sometimes we see a team just boot the ball and it just goes far to the other team and then someone catches it in the other team, then they run from like one end to the other.
Yeah.
And sometimes they even do a touchdown and it's such a crazy moment because they ran from one end to the other.
Yeah, so that's a return specialist.
So, yes. So putting that into context, the punter booted the American football to the other team because they were probably too deep in their end to like reset in a way. And then the return specialist was just like, not today.
Brings it back,
But for them to do a touchdown from getting it on that end to that is insane.
To ensure territory loss is minimized. Like with the holder, it's unusual to have a dedicated return specialist, and most teams will use a reserve wide receiver, running back, or cornerback to fill the role.
If you like this video, please consider...
You know what? For the amount of positions, he broke that down really well for 5 minutes. Like, that was a really good breakdown. Do you feel like you have a slightly better understanding of positions?
Yeah.